I, 30 female, have no contact with my older brother, 34, or his wife, 28, and have not for over a year. For around 3 years before that, our relationship was only upsetting. No matter what I did or said, his wife would claim I was behaving rudely or maliciously, and would scream and cry until I apologized. My brother, her parents, and her brother contacted me over the years to explain this was how she related to girls. Screaming, crying, and reconciling afterward was her way to be close to girls. I was often urged to play along and accept this about her because, over time, we would become close to it. But it got to the point where it was unbearable. Every message and interaction with her was exhausting, and she delighted in putting me down in front of other people. My brother absolutely enabled this and made everything worse. In fact, the final straw was him secretly recording a conversation we had where he asked me some deeply personal questions. At the time, I thought he was trying to be vulnerable together to mend our relationship. I caught him playing the recording with her as they laughed at me. I got a job opportunity far away and jumped at it, making going no contact suddenly much easier. I haven't spoken to either of them since. They've also yet to try to contact me since I moved. They recently had a child, something I only know about because my mom told me, and she's begun bugging me to visit them and send gifts and messages. I tried to say no thank you and even explained if they reached out I wouldn't respond, but I'm not interested in initiating contact. But every conversation I have with her now begins and ends with, "You're an aunt now, you need to act like it," or some variation. So today I said, "I'm not an aunt, I'm not in this baby's life in any way," and she was really upset with me. She asked me if I was rejecting her grandchild, which of course I'm not. She's welcome to have a relationship with whomever she wants and to be involved as she wants. But I'm not in this baby's life as an aunt or otherwise, and I don't see that changing in the future, honestly. The conversation only soured from there, with her insisting that if I refuse to accept I'm an aunt, then I'm claiming she's not a grandmother. She's now not speaking to me and insists I'm unnecessarily hurtful, creating sadness at a time that should be happy. I don't think of myself as an aunt at all, but now I wonder if it was cruel to voice that thought. Am I the idiot for saying I'm not an aunt? You're not the idiot. Your sister-in-law sounds exhausting and insane. Creating conflict is not a healthy way to build a close relationship. Your brother and his wife may be complaining to your mom that you haven't begged them to be a part of their child's life, so you should consider going no contact with your mother as well. It's not only your brother enabling your sister-in-law's weird behavior, but also your mother. What has your father to say about all this? Do you have any other siblings? I have 2 other younger brothers who think she's nutty. My parents are divorced, but my dad is on my side. He was the one who told me to cut them both out of my life. He took them out for a meal and discussed it right before I left to get a feel of the situation and see how we could fix everything. But he told me afterward there was nothing to be done because they seemed to enjoy the whole situation. He said to me, "It seems they like having an outside person to blame things on, and I was just unlucky to be chosen for that role." Oh wow, this is just so messed up. It seems like your brother and mother will turn themselves into pretzels to accommodate for some mentally ill 28-year-old who's been enabled her whole life. Sorry to say it, but this is truly good riddance. But looking at this, it might be that your older brother and sister-in-law are pressuring your mother into making you come to see the baby by restricting her access. I can't see a different explanation for her being so desperate, connecting you not wanting to be an aunt to her being a grandmother. It's good that you are not entirely alone and still have your father and younger brothers as support on this matter. I hope your bond with them will stay strong, and I wish you the best for the future. Please seek therapy to heal your trauma and leave toxic people in your past where they belong. Stay strong. I, male 26, started dating my girlfriend 27 2 years ago, and we've been living together for the last 5 months. So yesterday was my girlfriend's birthday and I did a small celebration for her at midnight. I bought a cake, a bouquet and a small gift for her, an Apple Watch, and everything went well. I also had dinner planned in my head, but my girlfriend's close friend was in the city, so she asked if we could both go for birthday dinner with her 3 friends. I happily accepted because it was her birthday. In the evening, we had her birthday dinner. Her friends had also bought cake and balloons for her again, and the celebration went pretty nicely. After dinner, the waiter came up with a bill and handed it to my girlfriend, who paid for it. After saying goodbyes to everyone when we were in the car, my girlfriend said something really weird, out of her character, that I should have paid the bill in the restaurant. It would have made a really good impression about me in front of her friends, because I make 2 or 3 times more than her. I'm not going to lie, but it was hurtful to hear that, so I said my friends frequently spend time at our place, so you should do more chores and cooking around our house in front of them, so it would make a really good impression on you too. As you can guess, this upset her, and the remaining night was not good. So, was I wrong to make that comparison? You are the idiot, I wouldn't have said that. You had her pay for her own birthday dinner? Oof, bad call. But you could have apologized. Instead, you gave the worst analogy that makes you sound misogynistic. Doing more chores shouldn't impress any guy except those cringy alpha males. It was her birthday. You sound really cheap and not generous. Exactly, the chore analogy was dumb. If it was your birthday and she cleaned up after you, sure. But it was her birthday. You make 2 or 3 times more than her, and you got her a small gift at midnight and didn't bother to pay for dinner on her birthday. Either you don't care about her, or you're a cheapskate. I disagree. Birthday or not, you don't invite your SO to go out to dinner with a group of your friends and then spring it on them that you were expecting them to pay the tab. She should have said up front that she wanted this dinner with her friends to be a birthday gift from you. You are not the idiot for your sarcastic response, and your comparison was right on target. It's been 2 years. Why must you prove to her friends that you're worthy of their approval? My 26 female sister, 33, has 2 sons, Bracken, young teen, and Neville, tween. My husband, 24, and I went to a basket raffle at our local library this past weekend with my sister, Bracken, Neville, Bracken's girlfriend, young teen, and my sister's husband, 33. This raffle is held every year and has many local businesses and organisations donate baskets to help raise funds for the library. There are all sorts of baskets, from free messages to gift cards to sports jerseys and so much more. Bracken got some tickets for all of the sports-related ones. He plays baseball and has done this every year, and he's been pretty successful in the past. Bracken then went round with his girlfriend. I was hanging out with my husband, sister, and the rest of the family while looking at the baskets when Bracken and his girlfriend returned to us. Shortly after this, while still looking at the baskets, we saw some science-y baskets with projects and books for kids and adults. This type of stuff is what Neville likes. It was going fine until, in that section, they had a few baskets aimed at girls in science, STEM. When Neville saw the baskets, he called them stupid. He started making some pretty awful comments about how girls are too dumb for science, and that's why they needed special baskets. He made some more comments like, "This is why the robotics club is all boys." My husband and I just dismissed it, but we could see a few people giving us looks, and Bracken made a comment telling Neville to shut his mouth. The raffle happened, Bracken won a lot, but the rest of us didn't. On the car ride home, my hubby and I asked each other where Neville could have learned that language, and we were stumped. Last night I got a call from my sister and she seemed stressed. She told me about how horrible Neville's first month of middle school was. She was telling me he was being targeted and bullied. I asked her to explain what happened and she was just crying. I asked if she could give the phone to someone else. She gave it to Bracken, who told her she wasn't telling the truth. He said that kids were mocking Neville for what he said at the raffle. Bracken admitted he was telling his friends about it, who then spread it around to the 6th graders. Some of the kids in Neville's grade were calling him creepy and weird and were doing it to his friends as well, who defended his comments. My sister quickly grabbed the phone from him after. After she calmed down, she asked me what to do. I told her that this was her fault for not correcting Neville's behaviour. She said that she didn't know why he said it and said that she can't just take away his phone or friends when I mentioned both as a possible source. She just doubled down and said she needed to teach Bracken and his friends not to gossip. I told her she was being ridiculous and hung up. She tried calling back, but I didn't pick up. Then I got angry texts. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here except Bracken. We have a tween falling into the misogynistic rabbit hole. Poor parenting. No one, including you, your husband and his mom, said anything. Instead, everyone ignored his comment. I applaud Bracken for at least telling him to shut up. Agreed. At least his brother was willing to tell him to shut up. Silently judging a kid who's acting this way isn't going to make him change, and his mom trying to turn this on Bracken is just ridiculous. Your sister needs to teach her son better than treat him like an angel that can do no wrong. But why didn't you, as a responsible adult who was present, immediately shut down the stupid comments? From the way the mom is reacting, I wouldn't be surprised if OP said something that their sister would have been mad that they're disciplining my child or something similar. Wondering who's modelling the misogyny to Neville. Curiously, his mom sees nothing wrong with his attitude against women. Guess Neville's the golden child. Poor Bracken. I, 24 female, have a twin sister Maisie, 24. Maisie is pregnant with her first and due in February, and the baby will be a boy. Last week she opened up to me and said that she and her husband, 26, have been fighting over baby names, and she said she's sick of hearing about it and wants to settle on a name that they both like. Maisie and her husband are both a bit geeky, not that there's anything wrong with that, and she told me she wants to name the baby Luffy, as in the character from One Piece. Her husband doesn't want this name and says the kid will be bullied. She asked for my honest opinion, and I told her that the name was silly and her husband was right. I tried to say this gently, but really, how gently can you tell someone their idea is stupid? I suggest she go back to the drawing board on that one and look at names of lesser-known anime characters if that's what she wants. Maisie got upset and said the name is cute and we're both just being close-minded. I told her she asked for my honest opinion and she got it. She kept trying to convince me that it was a good name and the conversation was becoming hysterical, and I told her it was a stupid name, end of discussion. She started crying and left, and since then she's been giving me the cold shoulder. Her parents told me to tell Maisie I'm sorry because my words upset her and I should have been nicer about it. Not the idiot, and it is a stupid name for a child outside of the anime world. She can give the baby a normal name but call him Luffy as a nickname or something. And I would remind Miss Maisie that kids grow up. Does she want her child to be a 40-year-old guy still dealing with being named Luffy when that anime has been forgotten by all but those with nostalgia for it? The mom-to-be is insane. Luffy is not a good name for a child in my opinion. It's more suited for a stuffed animal, a new innovative pillow brand, or a perfect name for a cat. You can have a unique name without it being comical. That's a terrible name for an actual child. Kids are brutal. They'll find any reason to bully if they're inclined to bully, but parents don't need to hand them material. I think some people tend to forget that their baby is going to grow up and have to live with the name as an adult in the real world. It's cute is a terrible reason to choose a name. I knew a girl growing up with a name similar to Glitter. She changed it because she was tired of being asked what her real name was, not her stripper name. Also, Glitter is cute for a horse, not someone trying to get into law school. I got divorced 5 years ago and I lost a lot. My ex got the apartment and our car. I was okay with it because she had our children and I wanted everything to be as stable as possible for them. I ended up moving in with my grandmother to make ends meet. I think my ex and I were doing a decent job of being co-parents. I spend a lot of time with my kids and I've never missed a child support payment. My grandmother became ill during a global issue and I was basically her caregiver. She made it through, but it knocked her on her butt. She passed away about 2 months ago. I'm an only child, but my parents are both irresponsible, which is why they couldn't help me out when I needed somewhere to live. My grandmother made me her main beneficiary when she passed away. All that she said was to take care of my kids. I sold her house after I gave everyone their bequests. I took the money and the rest of the estate, and I bought myself a house and a car. Her house was old and not in a great neighborhood for kids. I also put money into my children's education fund. When my ex found out what I did, she got upset. She said that I owed her more child support now. I checked with my lawyer before I did anything. Money from an inheritance, the sale of a house, or a lottery win does not count as income. If I'd invested the money instead, then the interest would count as income. She thinks I intentionally screwed her over. I now have a good, reliable car for work and a nice small house in a good neighborhood for when I have the kids with me. We're fighting about it, but I don't think I'm in the wrong. Edit, if I didn't have kids, I would have taken the money, moved to the Philippines and retired. I don't want 50-50 custody. She's a good mom, she has a job and I need to travel for work. You're not the idiot. It sounds like you spent several years living tight, sharing an apartment with your grandmother, caring for her, etc. You certainly weren't living high on the hog then and you aren't now. You bought a small home and a reliable car which will benefit your kids. You put money in their education funds. It sounds like you're responsible with the money and she's just mad that she doesn't benefit from it. It's not like you came into a huge fortune and bought a beach condo and private plane. Even if you had, you still wouldn't owe your ex squat for our purposes here. I hope your lawyer is correct. Your inheritance money? I think you mean our inheritance money. We might be divorced, but what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine, and mine, and mine, and mine, and not yours. Don't make me use the kids against you. Did I accurately depict OP's ex well enough? I think that's the ex's main issue here. OP is now in a stable position where he can potentially go back to court and ask for more custody of the kids, which would mean less child support for the ex. Sorry, not sorry, but your ex is just mad that she isn't getting money, not your kids. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You talk to the lawyer and everything is on the up and up, so she's going to have to suck it up and stop being jealous. You have a right to a nice home and a car, especially for your kids. Do you think buying yourself a nice house and a nice car is what your grandma meant when she told you to use the inheritance she left you to take care of your kids? Maybe grandmother thought it was all going to be the kids' college fund. How much do you currently pay in child support? $300 a month for 4 kids or something like that? Because money doesn't go far with kids in this economy. You are the idiot for leaving the actual child rearing up to your ex. Now that you have no excuse, you should honor your grandmother's final wish and care for your kids instead of yourself. If you're just a weekend father, then the house in the nicer neighborhood is really for you, and your kids are still stuck in an apartment most of the time. Get a new job or figure something out the way you would expect her to do for your kids.